People say you know, during this recession time, we really can't afford to address the needs of the poor. And I think now more than ever, we cannot afford not to reach out and try to reduce poverty, because if you look at the costs, the healthcare costs because of a person who's poor and poor nutrition, if you look at the social service agencies that they use, the families, how it affects families when you're living in poverty, there are statistics out there that are alarming in how much money it costs to keep people in poverty. And we're talking billions and billions of dollars.
This past decade's been pretty tough for the city of Welland. We had several factories close in 2002, 2003. I'd say that the recession hit Welland several years before the rest of the country, and actually it was a global recession. People were barely getting back on their feet, and many of them had when we had the 2008 recession. And this one, unfortunately, has been a jobless recovery, so we still have many people suffering in our community. Organizations like the Hope Center have been there for many decades, but now more than ever, providing services that not only people need, but predominantly children, who are the unfortunate victims in what's gone on over the past couple of decades in our municipality.
There was a committee called for by the mayor at the time, Cindy Forster, who brought the city's recognition of a hole in the social service net. And so the committee stood up to the plate to make this happen. Alongside the committee, or the city council part of the committee, came the out of the cold part of the committee, which I represented, having worked for a number of years to give people a place in the coldest months of the year, off the streets, a place to sleep, a place to have a meal, supper, and morning, but rotating from church basement to church basement, and we saw the need for that to improve. There was the backing from Canadian Tire Financial Services that stepped up to the plate, recognizing that they were looking for a way to invest in the community, and this fit their bill at that point in time. And fourthly, the Welland Community Resource and Action Center, which is basically what we now call Hope Center. It stood up saying that this was part of what they wanted to embrace in giving care for the community. So they became a partner that eventually came to own and oversee the Hope House.
The people that we do come in are the people that really lacked support from their family and from the community. And so it was hard to hear their stories, because they had been homeowners and they had been married, and they lost their family, and they lost their house, and a lot of times they really lost their spirit. So I think the way we dealt with that aspect of it is that we provided them with as much support and resources as we could. And then for staff, I think when we get into situations where it's been difficult and we've had a difficult stretch, I think we do a lot of reflection and a lot of talking, and try and support each other. And then of course everybody has their outside interests and passions that kind of help them get through some of the more difficult days.
Literacy and basic skills isn't what it used to be. Today, literacy and basic skills programs throughout Canada actually assist people in making that transition back to skills training. What's unique to this program versus other skills development programs is that we're frontline. And there is a belief that we're a special education program. We're not special education. We're the opportunity to begin your education and to change.
Right now, Welland is in a very bad situation in terms of an economic downturn. So we help people on all ends of the spectrum, from housing, such as the Hope House, to the other end of the spectrum, where families who can no longer afford to have their children involved in sporting activities can access Canadian Tire's Jumpstart program through us. And in between is our food bank, our soup kitchen, and our other programs. The meals that we provide in our soup kitchen, which is where our Hope House guests also have lunch, are balanced, and we try to follow Canada's food rules and food guide as much as possible. We've also tried to give them a taste of some food they might not have enjoyed in the past, such as Eastern food or Oriental food. As far as recipes go, if they ask for them, we certainly will share them. We've applied for a grant to be able to actually do some cooking classes with people so that they could come and prepare food, learn how to make it, and make it in quantity to take home to freeze to have for meals throughout the month.
On behalf of the citizens of Welland and Welland City Council, I want to say thank you to the staff at the Hope Center and the Hope House. I've heard many stories over the years of the good that you've done, and I've actually had some personal opportunities to sit down with you and work on some issues like how the city of Welland now fully funds your food security program. You're a passionate group of individuals that care deeply about our citizens, and I could not have been able to move the city forward if it wasn't for your assistance. So thank you very much for providing hope to our city.
Working at a homeless shelter is not a glamorous job by any means. It requires a lot of work, doing everything from cleaning rooms and doing linens, doing intake forms with guests, capturing a lot of data so that we can prove to our funders all the work that we're doing. All of the staff that work have a special place in their heart for people that are homeless and finding it difficult to find their way in life. I'd like to thank them for all the thousands of beds that have been changed and all the meals that have been cooked and all the hours they have spent chatting with people, trying to help them feel comfortable and secure.
Because of the fact that we wish to care for folks and not have them fall off the edge of our society, of our city, of our culture. We need people to be cared for, and when we are vulnerable as citizens, it's important that we gather around each other and give care. That's what happens at Hope Center and Hope House.
To have a shelter is an honor. It's also a slap in the face because of our society. We shouldn't have, I don't believe, in a country as rich as Canada, we shouldn't have to have a shelter. But we do, and we try to get by with we have some help from the government, both municipal, federal, and provincial, but we do also a lot of fundraising. And we try as hard as we can to make the place look nice. We want it to look as nice as if it was for anybody, whether you were homeless or not.
Any member of the community that would like to become involved is invited to come in, fill out an application, indicate what they think they can do to help us help the people of Welland, and we'll take them on as volunteers.